I'm out at the van again. You can tell by the junk. I'm still doing some demolition and getting rid of some stuff. Um, Climb up here. Taking a look at something a while back. I began to have 13.1 volts. That's charging off the sun. Of course, it dropped down to at least below 12.7 or below if it's not charging, which is the true voltage. But in any case, I had issues with the solar setup on top. I found out that, you can see this right here, that one of the MC4 connectors had come loose, and I've sort of got these things stacked, or daisy chained, where I have 2 into 1 into a 4 plug. I actually have a 6 plug in here. I just haven't put it up here yet. And since I'm not going to add any more panels up here because it's not possible, I am not going to replace those right now. In any case, I was getting like 12.2 volts at the peak, and I was sort of struggling to keep my batteries up. They were consistently dropping down to 11.5 volt range from time to time, which of course could damage the batteries. And the reason it was doing it is because that one MC4 connector was unplugged, I was actually had 200 watts or less out of the 500 that is up there now, and the 400 I expected before I added that last panel. So that was a little bit frustrating. So that's one of the few problems I had. I hadn't really mentioned that in any videos, especially when I was addressing the issue, because there was really I really couldn't address it until I took care of that problem. And here, of course, locked up. Let me talk about something else that I mentioned. This is my little ice-based air conditioner here. And let me tell you some things about it now that I've worked with it for a while. I have found out that the best formulation for quickly getting relatively cool is to add, say, a gallon of water. You see a gallon jug here, and a bag of ice. Very quickly, I can get it down to, I think at best I'm showing like 22 or 23 degrees Celsius. I guess that's in the 60s, or high 60s, the mid 60s. I got a cheap temperature, laser temperature type thing, infrared. So not cheap because it's Celsius. It's just cheap. It doesn't give me a choice of Celsius or Fahrenheit. Yeah, the more expensive one probably would have given me a Fahrenheit too. But it's all right. All I got to do is talk to my phone and tell it I need to convert Celsius, and it tells me. And I'm getting used to Celsius from all the Canadian van dwellers up there, and to some degree the European van dwellers. In any case, so at night out, it's like 34, 35 Celsius. I can get about 22, 24, maybe 25 at worst out of this when I put a bag of ice and water, or 2 bags of ice after a little melt time. That means I can make it tolerable back there for the hour or 2 of night before it drops down to any degree. And it's always muggy at night in Texas in the summer, so I ran this all night, and I still have, and it's been sitting in my car all day, and it's about 90 some odd degrees out there now, or at least high 80s, 91, 92 maybe. So it's still got ice in it. So this little Coleman setup I got is pretty good. I did add this. I showed this in a previous video, I think. This little direction thing here. Because I was only going straight out of that, which was pleasant enough. But now I've got this, so I can bring in it a little bit lower, and to some degree I can twist it from side to side. So that was a nice little addition. Pop this back up. Pop this up. Push this back. So So that's an update on that. And it's really getting me through this part of June. Now, July and August is going to get worse, so I'm thinking about what I'm going to do then, other than using my AC, which I will only use, like I said, during the day. You know, when there's no need for stealth. I'm never going to choose stealth over dying of heat prostration. So, but this is good to sort of tide me over. I'm thinking about making another one out of a larger cooler where I can put more wines in. Because this is not I think I've showed you this before. If not, I'll put a link to the video. This is not one of those blow across the ice type of setups. I've got a steel pipe underneath or through the ice in the water, and that's what's cooling. That way I can keep my ice longer. Nothing wrong with those, but I always get the feeling that the fact you're blowing the hot air from the outside into that cooler is melting your ice very quickly. It takes like 2 or 3 hours with just 2 bags of ice, and I've still got ice in there. Of course, I haven't run it the whole time, but there is no air going across there other than through that pipe. And so that ice has been there now for, I don't know, maybe 10 hours, 11 hours. So maybe a little longer. So that's a nice little addition. So I want to give you a quick chat on some updates on some things. The van is going good. In the back here in the van, I am making one little change. I'm adding some new tail lights. These little tail light housings on the back here, they're pretty old, and I broke one taking the step ladder in and out that I was using to work on the top of the van. So that was my fault. But I'm going to take this out and put new lights in there. I've got the 2 new ones in the front seat of the car, and I think getting this fixture together is probably a 5-minute job on both, assuming everything goes smoothly, and I don't see why it shouldn't. In any case, that's what I want to give you a quick rundown on an update on some things on the AC cooler, on the issue I had that I never really reported. Not that I didn't think you'd be interested, it just wasn't enough for a complete video about the panels. Now that I have got them hooked up correctly, I put that MC4 connector in there, made sure it was firmly ensconced so it doesn't come loose anymore. So now I'm getting full output and no trouble at all with solar with the 500 watts that are on there. All right, that's all I've got. I will talk to you later when I've got something more interesting to talk about. Of course, we could debate as to whether anything I've got is that interesting. I'll talk to you later.